Welcome, fellow travelers. Mod Maven here, and I'm happy to bring you a review of this beautiful paradise planet. We're here in the Euclid galaxy in a Viking Tier 3 economy, ready to see why you should come explore and maybe even drop a base. We'll dig into what makes this planet and system special and finally give it a vibe score. Let's get to it. Okay, we're calling this one Diplo Moonshine for these awesome rings here on this moon, actually. So this time we're on a paradise moon. That means we're not going to have any water, but we've got some awesome stuff to look at. So as we look across here, we've got lovely green grass, some nice golds and greens in the Flora, and we have our pinwheel glow palms, as we've seen for a couple of weeks now. The rings are actually from a planet nearby. So because we're on a moon, there is a planet really close that has rings. So when you're looking for a moon, it's pretty nice to find one that's got the ringed planet right next to it. We have some of these taller striped kind of palms as well, some white trunks on these kind of gold, and you can see in the background there one of the main attractions as far as our fauna. So for this one, we've got some diplos, which is awesome. Pretty rare to find, and pretty great that they're on this moon for sure. So this, as we're coming up on it here, we're seeing a couple other critters as well, but this is one of the genders, kind of a beaked look to this one. Kind of a gray and white, kind of a gray kind of elephant kind of look on the other gender. Really cool stripes on that one as well. We'll probably ride one of those around a little bit later if we can find the other gender. The other Flora I wanted to kind of highlight here is kind of this horned rat-faced T-Rex with his ridges on the back. If you check out the other gender of this, it's pretty freaky looking. It's got like a big pumpkin sack kind of head look to it, and it's pretty freaky, kind of stuff of nightmares there. But anyway, so of course these diplos, while this one is alone right now, a lot of times these will just be hanging around in herds, and because you're on a moon, you'll see a lot more of this fauna just hanging out because the surface of the moon is just smaller. As we kind of look across some of these rolling hills, there's really not a ton of really large mountains or anything like that. You're really not going to find that on a moon. As you can see, it's kind of pretty wide open. There are some caves here we'll look at very briefly here in a minute, but overall easy to get around if you need to get some salvage data or things like that. So really nice one here with our rings in the sky and these greens and golds. And I wanted to step down here into this cave that I found. I put a save beacon here because it's pretty awesome. So as we see in some caves as well, we see some of the outside coming in here. So we've got the big white trunked trees like we saw earlier, and the greens kind of follow it in as well with some of the glowing green here on the ceiling. Some of this hanging down from the cave. So really kind of magical look here as we with our greens and our different colors in here. That gold's really looking good too. I mean, look at this right here. I mean, it looks like you're under the boughs of a tree, like in this cave. It is so cool. Anybody know what this is? That's right. We've got Runaway Mould on this one. If the diplos and rings and all the awesome colors and glowing at night wasn't enough, hey, you can get some nanites here too. Because this is on this planet, you're also going to see it on other planets in the system potentially. I'll show you those here in a few minutes. So if you want to build a base on one of those as well, you could. But as far as these moons, because they're not very large, it's pretty easy to find these kind of clusters of runaway mold, as they're called. So if you've never had one of these before, these refined down to nanites. So if we take a look over here, I got a few churning right now. So a full stack will do 2,000 nanites, which is pretty good. A full stack being 9,999. Just so you know, you want to just collect all this with your mining beam, save right here, and then reload. And just keep collecting until you have 4 stacks. 4 full stacks. And then throw them in here, and each one of these, it'll take 20 minutes to do that. While we wait on that runaway mold, I wanted to show you the other gender of this diplo. So these diplos are not massive, you know, but kind of a gray and stripy, got some kind of frills on the neck here. The horns on top are pretty cool. So this one's not super big, but of course you can go to the egg sequencer to make it bigger if you like. These are fun just to watch in herds for sure while you're waiting on some nanites. Alright, as our sun goes down, we're going to check out the glowing at night, but I also wanted to show you the HUD real quick here. So you'll see these runaway mold in your HUD, and it will look like this up at the top. Also, in your visor, you'll see them in these little kind of yellowish orange clusters. You'll see them, and it'll say runaway mold. In general, to find these, you want to find one and then line it up north to south. So for instance, you can use mine as a reference, and then you want to just point your compass north and just follow that line. I like to just do this on foot because these are harder to see in a ship as you're moving fairly quickly, and the only way that you can tell if there's some coming up is in the HUD like this. Because this is a moon, it's just not as big as some other planets. So it's fairly easy to head off in one direction, use your jetpack, and just kind of keep your eyes open, check the visor every once in a while, and find these. So I found this one, it only has 12 or 13 runaway mold on it, but you could certainly find the one that's bigger for sure. I only spent about 20 minutes looking. As promised, before we head out, let's check out these awesome rings in the sky. So of course, depending on where you build on this moon, you'll have these, either directly overhead or kind of a view like this. I like it when it's just coming over the horizon there and can really dominate the sky. It looks super, super cool. And of course, our kind of pinwheel glow palms, we've seen them before, but super big on this planet. A couple different varieties of that. And we do have another planet we can see in the sky at night as well, right over there. All right, out here in space, I want to talk about the rest of the system in these planets. So this is our system freighter, kind of a turquoisey green and black here. And as we flip over these planets, we've got some pretty good ones. I went to each and got a 360 kind of view of the different planets. First one I wanted to talk about is actually this right here. We've seen it. That's our little paradise planet, right? Or our paradise moon, excuse me, with our awesome rings we saw from there. So for this one, it's a contaminated planet. It has some yellows and kind of an aqua green sky, rings of course, and our kind of hexagonal minerals, so pretty cool one to check out. And then the next one up is a gamma intensive planet. Now this one has ancient bones, but it's got super tall, razor sharp mountains. I mean, there's barely even anywhere to land on the things. It also has high sentinels, so even though it has the ancient bones, it's going to be really hard to get around on that one. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is the next planet. This is another paradise planet. What's funny about this one is I actually found this paradise planet first before I even found the paradise moon. The problem is it looks great from out in the system, and then you get closer and you land and things go horribly wrong. It's got this bright red, kind of a washed out black and white and bright red filter on it, and man, it is rough. So this one's just not very good. Sorry, not great to look at. But if you wanted to find some runaway mold on here, there may be some larger collections of it for sure, just because it's a bigger planet. The last one to round this one out is a spine planet, another awesome one. So this has the rattle spines that you can find. Again, use your HUD, similar to how you find the runaway mold. You can use your HUD and it'll show up as a little yellow question mark when you're running around. This one has a really cool kind of purple filter to everything, so a pretty neat one to check out. And you can use those rattle spines to decorate your base. Okay, up here in the space station, let's talk about these ships. I reloaded next to my all-white radiant pillar back there, which is pretty nice. And didn't move and let these ships come in. So this is our first wave. So in any system, you're going to have 21 different configurations of ships. That's things like the colors, like that yellow and blue there as that hauler heads out, and the nose and the cockpit, things like that. So for this one, since we're in a Viking economy, we're going to have 7 different fighters. I'll put up a few screenshots of these as we go. There are a couple of heavies here. So with the larger capacity right off the bat, there's a pretty nice long nose here. And there's also also a heavy that's a barrel nose that looks pretty good. And there's also kind of a all light green heavy alpha. And then we're going to have 3 haulers. Now we saw one of them, that yellow one with the blue shielded balls on the side of it. And there are 2 kind of red and blue ones I'll show as well. Then we're going to have 3 explorers. There's a pretty nice base white with orange. It's asymmetrical, but still a pretty good looking ship there. And then you're going to have 7 shuttles and 1 exotic. I did not find the exotic for this one, but if you hang out here in the space station long enough or down on a trading post, you should be able to find it. Alright, as more ships come in and out here, let's talk about the S-Class upgrades available up here at the space station. These are over on the left-hand side as you come in at these vendors over here. So there's a few good ones here for the exosuit, radiation protection, life support, and shield. As far as your multi-tool, this is going to be a C-Class, so not super great there. I'll put up a screenshot of that. Notable things for sale though, you do have chlorine, so not too bad on the upgrades there, but not tons of upgrades. Now it's time to give this planet a Vibe score. The Vibe score I give is very subjective, but takes into account a wide variety of factors on how it makes me feel just to hang out and vibe for a while. This one's really pretty. We're seeing our gray Diplo head across here. We got these awesome rings in the sky from the planet nearby, greens in the grass, and gold through the trees, gold in the sky. We got these awesome pinwheel palms, glow palms we can check out at night. Some really cool caves we looked at. Also, along with these Diplos, we've got Runaway Mould. So if you need to get some Nanites, you can come kind of set up a farm or use the one that I made. Of course, a 3-star economy. And we're in a Viking economy, so we've got some fighters to check out, which I know most people are big fans of. So it really checks a lot of boxes. We're going to give this one an 8 out of 10. With that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe to catch that vibe. Special thanks also goes out to my supporters over on buymeacoffee.com. Their support helps me do these every week as we journey towards the center of Euclid, checking out all these great paradise planets. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!